It's 8:04 on Tuesday, the 18th of April, 2023. I'm Clay Groves. It's the Magic Morning Show, and it's your lucky day because Uncle Dan Levine is in the studio. Dan Levine is the current Mount Washington Valley Mister. And Dan, you work for the Way Station. What do you do for the Way Station?
I do, man. Hey, brother, thanks for having me on.
Happy to have you here.
Man. What do I do for the Way Station? Well, I'm kind of the face of the Way Station. I'm operations.
So they chose the prettiest person they could find.
Oh, I don't know much about that, but I'm pretty much the one that handles all the operations. I'm the client coordinator and resource coordinator.
Well, that's cool. And so why don't we, before we get too far into other things, I'm aware of the Way Station because I work in this business and we get news releases and stuff. But a lot of people don't know what the Way Station is. Tell us what it is.
Well, before I go there, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to measure up to your snailfish interview.
Oh, that was a good interview.
I can guarantee I won't shut you down like they did.
Yeah.
So
that was my kid Blue Jay. They'd always shut me down.
Yeah. So the Way Station was founded in 2019 as an effort from Reverend Gail Doctor and Pastor Nathan Hall. Reverend Gale's from the Intervale Church, Nathan Hall's from the Lutheran Church. They were working on a coalition to look at homelessness in the area and what they could do. And, they didn't want to just sit around and talk about it, so they decided to kind of put an effort together. They went around, visited a whole bunch of other agencies that were similar, and then just put the Way Station together as a way to address immediate needs of homeless and housing insecure folks.
Right. You're doing direct service. I mean, this is person-to-person contact, which is a really important thing. Give me like a picture of what this looks like.
Yeah, so that's one of the pieces that we do. So we have the 4 pillars of our agency and it spells out HOPE, H-O-P-E. The first pillar, H, is housing. So one of the things they're working on behind the scenes is trying to figure out how to do some sort of transitional type, short-term, open-ended housing. That's not something that's in the immediate future, but it is in the future.
Well, it's a hard thing to put together, but it's valuable and needed.
Well, it's absolutely needed. We don't have a shelter in Carroll County. The nearest shelter to Carroll County would be in Lancaster.
Oh, my gosh.
So O is operations. That's what I do. That's a day-to-day, getting down to the grind, contacting folks that are in tents, cars, living in hotels, finding out what their needs are, seeing if we can help meet them or at least give them referrals and directions where they can be met. P is poverty mitigation, but I like to call it poverty disruption.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an effort that's being taken on by a couple board members and other stakeholders in the community, connecting with an organization called Circles USA, which will take folks that are in immediate homeless or housing insecure situations or poverty situations and connect them to like mentors in the community to be able to help them find a way to kind of disrupt that process to begin building on.
It's almost like breaking a pattern. You fall into this pattern, and how do you get out of it? And you need support. You need a mentor to help you
it's funny. I did an interview with Mandy McDonald a couple weeks ago, and she said, it's not a handout, it's a hand up.
Right.
And that's what we're kind of looking for. And then E is economic stabilization, and that is a kind of maybe short-term resource that could be available to folks that are maybe facing like eviction, for example, if it's due to financial reasons, finding resources in the community or providing resources to be able to help them stave that off so that they don't enter into a homeless situation.
Oh, yeah. If you can prevent the homelessness from happening, you don't have that problem.
Exactly. So the day-to-day business of it is exactly what we do. So our hours are Mondays from 10 to 2 by appointment, Thursdays from 10 to 1 by appointment, and Thursdays from 4 to 6 for drop-in. That's when we contact folks, find out what their needs are, get them set up to come and receive the resources they need, whether it be food, tent, sleeping bags. We can sometimes provide gas cards, laundry cards, phones. Those are essential and often vital resources that folks in homeless situations don't have available.
Well, it's funny. It's interesting you said phones.
Yeah.
Because you talk to people over the years, and they go, I can't believe, that person's homeless. They've got a cell phone. How could they be homeless? And they forget that a cell phone now is a necessity.
It is.
So a lot of homeless people work.
Yeah.
And you can't apply for or get a job without that phone, or you can't communicate with your family. It's really an important tool that we undervalue, as some people kind of look at people and make some judgments. It's an important thing to have.
I know we're limited for time, but I want to tell you a quick story
Sure.
as to how I got into this.
I love to hear it.
I'm a therapist. That's what I do when I'm not at the Way Station. I do substance use and mental health therapy. I have for over 10 years. I was working with a client who was living in their vehicle. This is going back a few years. And I had asked him, I said, it must be really difficult living in your car. And they said, Dan, it's not that bad, except for the hours between 4 in the morning and 6 in the morning.
Oh, good Lord.
And I'm like, why is that? Is it cold? And he says, no, it's lonely.
Oh.
So, that really stuck with me.
Sure.
And a few years later, when I got involved with the way station, that's what I keep in my mind. That's the lesson I teach all of my volunteers, is that, we may be the only human contact, positive human contact that these folks have in a daytime. And the phone provides that as well. It gives them a connection when they don't have connection. So, aside of being a vital resource for finding a job, finding a house, whatever it might be, it's also that connectivity piece, to stave off the loneliness that occurs when you sit in your vehicle or in a tent for 8 to 10, 12 hours a day.
Yeah, it's hard, and we don't think about those things. And it's in a lot of people, and we all do it. It's easy to kind of compartmentalize your thinking and forget about people who need your support. Can you give us, I love that anecdote, by the way, and I know that you sometimes I've seen you at Walmart with a big sign. Tell us what you're doing.
So that was a seasonal thing I was doing. I started doing that in October as the weather started turning. What we realized pretty quickly was that a lot of our folks walk to us, and we're located in North Conway.
Where in North Conway?
We're at 15 Grove Street. It's a building directly behind the Lutheran Church. The Lutheran Church has been very generous in allowing us to utilize the space that we have. Mm-hmm. It is not a Lutheran Church effort. They are just providing us the space. So the Walmart, that started because I started getting worried about people walking, far distances in the cold. And then as the snow started coming, as we get snow in this area, sidewalks disappear.
It's hard to walk, yeah.
Yeah, so as an effort to kind of help out with that, I decided I was just going to start going to Walmart. I do have some friends at work there that are in positions that allowed me to be able to do that without any issues. So that was really helpul.
Just delivering service to where people are, meeting them where they are.
Cars and tents, folks in cars and tents.
Yeah.
And we have a big thermos that we brought hot water in. We had, coffee bags, cocoa, tea bags. So that way when they got there, they'd have something warm to drink to kind of warm them up internally. Mm-hmm. I always had blankets, tents, sleeping bags, food, hats, mittens, gloves, things like that.
Perfect. And so that's great service. And you guys obviously need donations. You need support from the community. How do people get involved?
Well, it's a good thing that you asked.
That's why I'm here.
We have a fundraising event coming up where we're going to be having a table at Walmart. That's going to be on Saturday the 29th between 8 and noon. I'm going to have shopping lists available for folks that want to come and buy some stuff to donate, and we're also going to be accepting cash donations. Other ways to donate, you could go on our website, which is waystationnh.org, and there's a donate link on the front page that will bring you to a place where you can just donate money if you want to. It can be mailed to us, P.O. Box 1888, North Conway, New Hampshire. Or you can just come in and hand me a wad of cash. I'm happy with that, too.
We all like wads of cash.
Hey,
That's great. So that way station definitely needs community support, and donations are a good way to get there.
We do. And if you want to donate items, you can call me at 603-452-7113. We don't accept all items, so it's important that you call and not just drop them off.
Right, because you don't want to just pile of stuff. You need this important list of stuff people need. And if you get outside of that, it just becomes a pile of stuff. So
absolutely.
Really important.
There are some thrift stores that we work with that help our clients out. So we kind of go back and forth. And when we get overflows of things that we don't need, we just send it to them.
All right. Well, that's Dan Levine. And Dan, why do they call you Uncle Dan?
So that's a story. You got a minute?
I got a minute.
All right. So as I mentioned, I'm a therapist. I've been doing substance use for quite some time. And I was doing a residential treatment program. It was a 90-day long-term program that I was running, and it was my very first time doing that. And I had a group of young folks in there. And one of them took to calling me Uncle Dan. And it was kind of frustrating a little bit. And I pulled him aside one day, and I'm like, why do you do that? And he said, because you remind me of the uncle I wish I always had.
That's nice.
So, that just kind of stuck from there.
And there it is.
Like, yeah.
And there it is. And you're the current Mount Washington Valley Mister.
Yes, sir.
Following right behind me as the Mount
Look
Washington
at the royalty
Valley
in this room.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Between you and I, come on.
Oh, and if George Cleveland comes in, he used to be Mount Washington Valley Mister as well.
Oh,
so,
I know.
It's crazy. There's a red carpet out front. We got horse and carriage.
But well, that would be for George anyways, without the crown.
He demands it. Well, congratulations on that. It was fun putting the crown on your head. It's the first time I got to meet you in person. But tonight's an event coming up.
There is
the Valley Food Fight. Yeah.
And my son, Corey Levine, is going to be chefing for the way station. So, if you get a chance, come on down. We'll have a cash bucket there available. If anybody wants to drop some money in the bucket for us, that'd be great.
Yep, that's happening at 5 o'clock at the Sweet Maple Cafe. 4:45, we have to be there.
4:45,
right?
okay.
At 5 p.m. as the judging begins.
Yeah.
Come there early. You can watch the judging. I'm one of the judges. They call me a celebrity, which is hilarious to me. But it's a fun. I've been judging this one for now a couple of years now. I love this event. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I asked Lisa if that's a perk of being Mount Washington Valley Mister, is being able to get some food.
It is. It is. You can walk into any restaurant with your crown on and get a free meal. You tell him Clay told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, see how that goes.
Sure.
All right. Dan, we got to get off of this.
All right, man.
That's Dan Levine from the Way Station website. One more time.
waystationnh.org.
waystationnh.org. It's 8:14 on the Magic Morning Show. Let's take a break and come back with Kid Leroy.